I've had a lot of negative feedback in response to my coming on and saying honestly that I happen to have evidence I'd present in a court of law that exonerates somebody unpopular, exonerates someone that helps his case to defend himself against reckless and immoral criminal accusations he's facing here on YouTube in a court of law. And people are unhappy. People are unhappy, I think, primarily just because they would prefer if I was some kind of monster who was out here trying to get more thumbs up on a video. That if I was someone who had no personal integrity, who would just pile on demonizing someone when I know them to be innocent, or when I know things that, again, I would present in a court of law that would contribute to that side of the case. Maybe it's not a slam dunk. Maybe there are some points to the other side. But that's what I know. That's what I know directly. That's the testimony I have to present, okay? I don't know what Freely knows. We can guess. Freely has made public statements on this, and we have screenshots. I can guess that what Freely has to say is very similar to what I have to say, okay? But the court case is never going to happen. This is being disputed in a court of public law. But, one of the complaints, which is interesting and rings true, but ultimately is a negative judgment on this audience and not on me, was the person who wrote in and said, in response to this, this is why you'll never have a larger audience. All right? He said, this is why you'll never have a larger audience. Because one, you're telling the truth. And two, you openly refer to your audience as stupid, right? Now, in that video, I didn't call my whole audience stupid. I made a nuanced statement. I normally do not prepare my videos to cater to the stupidest 40% of the audience. I've done videos on the philosophy of Aristotle in the past. I'm telling you, when I talk about Aristotle, I'm not dumbing it down that much. I think I'm clear. I think people who have no prior background in Aristotle can still understand that. Today, right after we do this video, I'm going to do a video on philosophy of Cicero, ancient Roman philosopher of democracy, of political philosopher, whatever you want to say. I'm not gonna dumb it down that much. Okay, this is not like there are YouTube channels like 5-minute philosophy, 8-bit philosophy, like dumbed down, pocket size, lowest common denominator politics. Homie, don't play that. Okay, that's not what I'm here for. I'm telling you, I do not cater to the dumbest 40% of my audience. But I think that's an interesting comment that rings true on several levels, right? You are never going to reach a larger audience. What does that mean? It means you're never going to reach a larger audience within veganism, right? You'll never reach a larger audience without doing what Freely used to do, without doing what Durianrider used to do, without doing what Norvegan is doing right now, right? So it's a really interesting judgment on that audience, right? So look, I probably have about 1,000 vegans who care about this channel and show up regularly if I've got something to say about veganism, okay? What do you think? Are there maybe 5,000 more vegans I'm not getting who would show up if I was catering, if I was pandering, if I was living a lie? There's this scene in the Game of Thrones TV adaptation where Tyrion Lannister is on trial and he says to the audience, I wish I could be the monster you think I am. I wish I could play the role the crowd is demanding of me, but I'm not. I can't imagine what it's like to be a person of so little personal integrity that they see like, whoa, I got 100 thumbs down on a video. I better change my tune. I better change what I'm saying and cater to what the audience wants. No? I don't know. Some of you guys maybe live a lie off camera. So when you come on camera, it's not that challenging to live a lie. This is a criminal allegation. I mean, I wouldn't lie to you, the audience, about a robbery charge. I wouldn't lie to you about a fist fight in front of a nightclub or a bar. I wouldn't lie to you about some relatively trivial criminal charge. Okay? I'm also not going to lie to you when I see someone being condemned for having narcissistic personality disorder, a mental disorder I happen to know a lot about because I have met and spoken to people diagnosed with the disorder. And naturally, I did research for that reason, okay? In this case, that diagnosis is laughably false, if you know about that disorder, and if you've met and spoken to people, etc. Laughably. It's a complete hatchet job, all right? Now, furthermore, if someone really does have that disorder, you should treat it with some goddamn compassion. We know people who are anorexic. Do I come on doing a hatchet job about them being anorexic? It's tragic. It's sad. Oh, wow, you have this person. We know people who have bipolar disorder. I mean, I remember there was one vegan activist in particular, and I really tried to get along with her and cooperate with her. It was very, very difficult, and her bipolar disorder was doubtless part of what made it so difficult. I'm not coming on here condemning her. It's sad. It's whatever. I mean, got some human compassion. Sure, diagnoses are real. You want to diagnose and condemn this man for having narcissistic personality disorder. What can I tell you? I am not the monster you want me to be. I am not someone who would be gleeful to tell you Durianrider has a psychological disorder, even if it were true, and even though Durianrider has personally harmed me and negatively affected my life in so many ways. All right? I have personal integrity. I would never sink to his level. I would never sink to Norvegan's level. I would never sink to Freely's level, etc., etc. And I would not do it for an extra 5,000 viewers, which is all that's possible. Veganism is not that big an audience. It's just that. It's just not. I wouldn't do it for 5,000 viewers. I wouldn't do it for $5,000. I've got to figure out how to live a life with personal integrity, and so do you. Like I even said about Vegan Gains before, him excusing his garbage content by saying it's for the money. How about real estate? What? You want to go into real estate? Like, are we really making these decisions on the basis of money? And I've been having these conversations all in my adult life. When I was in Laos and Cambodia, talking to people in the humanitarian sector who were justifying doing totally immoral things within the humanitarian sector, within the charity sector, for money. I would say to them, dude, like, if this is about the money, we should be in rap music. We should be in real estate. I mean, it's a joke. And these people, they're not joking. I mean, it's sad and it's sick. They're totally devoted to chasing fame. They're totally devoted to chasing money, and it warps their perception of reality on a pretty deep level. All right. This is a rape charge. Again, I wouldn't lie to you about a robbery. I wouldn't lie to you about a fist fight. Some things like that. Fist fights have come up on this channel, right? And I'm now looking at making the transition with this channel, with my main channel, with Active Research, Informed Opinion, to really pursuing a larger audience, right? I want to talk about politics and history, nonfiction, whatever you want to say. I want to do research. I don't just want to talk about my opinion, my perspective on the world. I want to do original research and share that as a kind of public service about what's going on in politics in Asia, in Europe, in North America, and so on. And that's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be a lot more hard work than coming on here and talking about my sex life, which I'm also completely honest about. But let's say you were looking at a fork in the road, where it's like, okay, you can have an audience of 5,000 people telling the truth, or you can have an audience of 50,000 people living a lie. What kind of human being would make that choice, would choose to live a lie, even if there are no other stakes and there are no other victims? Like, if it's just the truth that's being sacrificed in an abstract sense. You want to come at me like this over a rape charge. I mean, rape is like the second most serious charge after murder, I guess. Over allegations of rape and insanity against someone. Somebody I don't like, somebody I was a critic of myself. I came on and gave reasonable and balanced criticism of this guy. What he said about Crohn's disease, what he said about homosexuality, what he said about politics, what he said about dropping out of school. He told people to drop out of college and this kind of stuff. Norvegan didn't do that. Hannah Chloe didn't do that. What did Hannah Chloe do, real quick? Why did she move to Chiang Mai in the first place? Josie, same question. They moved there to emulate, to imitate, to reproduce exactly the business model that Freely had demonstrated. And of course, to some extent, the business model Durianrider had demonstrated. They went there to be the next Freely. Okay? Said this before. YouTube is a really spare art form. Look at this. It's one man with one microphone in front of a t-shirt. That's all I got. Okay? Keep it real or get the fuck off of YouTube. I cannot believe. Look, the only silver lining in this cloud I gotta say is, remember, the numbers of people involved here are small. I was just saying to Melissa the other day, I knew this guy. He was robbed by like 5 black people. They robbed his bicycle. And then he developed this racism towards all black people. And it's like, well, guess what? I know you're hurt, but you can't be prejudiced against millions of people on the basis of your experience with 5 of them. Whether it was black people or white people or Chinese people who stole your bicycle, you've got to have some level of detachment. But, I've certainly had my share of insights into who the people are within veganism who are on the internet, who are there to be mobilized. We got an insight into it with the rise and fall of somebody like Little Cheetah, the rise and fall of Durianrider himself. We got to see who these people are. And it's hilarious to me that members of the audience are writing to me with their own sense of moral self-righteousness, asking, why aren't you pandering? Why aren't you pandering to this audience? And, what you're asking me to cater to is a lot lower than the lowest common denominator. Somebody comes on camera and says to you, I had a direct phone conversation with this person. This is what she told me. Again, to all indications, the same thing she told freely at that time, right? I have emails. This is what she told me, which confirms what she said in that phone conversation, confirms a lot of other things also. And you're coming out, so you're saying, you want blood, you want entertainment. Why can't I just lie? Even when the stakes are that high. That's not an audience I'm interested in pursuing. And look, maybe it's part of the sickness of the audience relationship on YouTube. You guys are so used to people like, I shouldn't even name names. You're so used to YouTubers coming out and saying, hi, I love you guys. And just doing whatever they can possibly do to build up the self-esteem of their audience to make you feel appreciated. Does CNN do that to you? Like, seriously, when you open a newspaper, does the newspaper appreciate you as an audience? No, fuck you. The newspaper has a job to do. Hey, I went out and researched this shit. I went out and researched corruption in the government, and now I'm writing an article. I'm not going to pander to you. Wake up. Live up to the standards of this article, or be an ignorant piece of shit and ignore it. Choice is yours. Like, that's implicit just in the format of the newspaper. You have to rise to the newspaper's level or get the fuck out, right? And somehow, even though YouTube, it's similar to television, people have really, really gotten used to a very strange level of pandering. That, Guys, within the next month, we're moving to Taiwan. I'm going to get a new desk. I'm going to get a new suit and a new tie. And what goes on this channel is going to move up a level in terms of the quality and quantity of nonfiction. It's going to be more like Jimmy Dore or the Young Turks. I want it to be way better than that. It's going to be more like the political items on Philip DeFranco, I hope. It's a higher standard, frankly, even though he's a gossip channel. When he does politics, he does a better job than those other channels. I want to offer active research and informed opinion. So I know some members of this audience are going to stay with me, and some of you are going to disappear. Do you really expect me to say, I'm going to miss you? I sure am going to miss those people who were disappointed when I didn't make rape allegations I knew to be false for their entertainment. Mind-blowing.